Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. This is Inside the Program. I'm Joe Cook, got Eric Nalene. We go over the latest from the week of practice and what's going on behind the scenes as the Longhorns get ready for the Gators. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also head to InsideTexas.com. Now is a great time to sign up. Signing day is around the corner. Stretch run of the season is here. So head to InsideTexas.com. There is a link in the description. Today, we'll have the final word on Johntay Cook, latest on Isaiah Bond and Andrew Mukuba, maybe a return for more snaps for Jerrick Gibson, and tidbits from the week of preparation. Eric, Justin and Ian and I were on here yesterday talking about Johntay. You broke the news, but one last word on the situation. And Sark acknowledged his departure from the program yesterday. What's the last thing that we want to say about Johntay as he's now he is looking for a new program?
Yeah, it actually surprised a couple people behind the scenes that it came to this point at this point of the season. A lot of people thought it was going to materialize after the season, kind of have a come to Jesus talk about whether or not it was going to work out. Sark called it a mutual separation, which, he tends to do that. But, a lot of people have said that that it came down to his drop against Mississippi State or something like that. Sark, you're not going to get in the doghouse forever for a drop. Sark has shown in the past that he's going to go back to you after a drop, or he's going to stick with you through a rash of penalties. He doesn't give up on his players easily at all. So it didn't have anything to do with that drop. What happened was he just got behind a couple guys. Attitude wasn't as good as it should have been. And then that made it even harder for him to get out on the field. So it just kind of spiraled from there. It's unfortunate it came to this. It doesn't really have anything to do with his talent. He's going to be a good player wherever he ends up, and he's going to end up at a good school. He's going to be a good player. But it won't really matter to Texas fans because they're going to have good players too. There won't be any drop-off from losing Johntay Cook because he'll be replaced by somebody equal or better. But we wish him luck. He's a good player. He's going to have a bright future.
Yeah, one of the points we talked about yesterday is you can just look at snap counts. Like, he's sixth, and we thought about the six-man rotation. But Sarkisian kind of reverted to form, and he has a four-man rotation where Silas Bolden sees some action, Cook's behind, and a mutual parting of ways ended up being the result. Want to go on next to the latest on Isaiah Bond and Andrew Mukuba, a couple players who have seen varying levels of action in recent weeks. Both on the Thursday night injury report were listed as probable. Mukuba went from questionable on Wednesday to probable on Thursday. Bond was probable on both. Colton Vosick was downgraded to doubtful. We'll get to that if we need to. But what's the latest on the projections for Isaiah Bond and Andrew Mukuba playing on Saturday?
Well, I'm glad I checked the board before I posted on Mukuba because I still had him listed as questionable because based on my conversation, I wasn't led to believe that he would have been upgraded to probable. I'd be somewhat surprised if Mukuba plays, in large part because they're playing a third-string walk-on quarterback. I don't know anybody that really thinks DJ Lagway is going to play. The five-star Florida quarterback, I don't think he's going to play. So this presents another opportunity to rest Mukuba if they want. They've got a huge stretch coming up in November. They think they've got a lot of football ahead of them beyond November, so that they might take advantage of Florida's weak passing game. To rest him again. Isaiah Bond is a huge part this week. They really need to jumpstart the offense, jumpstart the passing game in particular. Getting Isaiah Bond, they need to get some good reps. They need to get their confidence back. Getting Isaiah Bond, he threatens all three levels of the field. He can be an easy outlet pass for Quinn, over the middle, mid-range, or he can go deep. So they really need him back to help Quinn get his confidence back, get the passing game back to what we saw. There's a duality between the running game. The running game can help the passing game, but the passing game can also help the running game, and we haven't seen the passing game help the running game nearly enough in recent weeks.
Obviously, with Bond, if it's not a situation where you can go, or if you just can't even go full tilt, you have a lot of faith in what Ryan Wingo can do. Who do you think is back there splitting snaps or maybe taking snaps from Mukuba if he's not able to go, again, full tilt or go at all?
All right, well, it's Johnny McDonald's time to shine. This is a perfect situation for him. It's also a really good game for him because he comes downhill with the thunder much more than Mukuba does. And Florida likes to run the ball. They've got some bigger backs. I think Jelani McDonald's going to have a good game. I hadn't really thought about this until you asked, but yeah, it makes all the sense in the world that McDonald would have a good game. And it probably sets up better for him anyways, because McDonald still has the cover skills, maybe not quite as well as Makuba. Doesn't have the understanding of routes concepts quite as well as Makuba. But this isn't the passing game to worry about that. They're going to run the ball. I expect McDonald to come in and have a really good game. He's got a steadying force with him, Michael Taft. Last time we saw McDonald, he had a really good game against Vanderbilt in a trickier run game offense. So expect McDonald to have a good game. We might still see Makuba. I don't want to be wrong on that. He'll suit out. If it was Georgia coming to town again, Makuba would play. Georgia's not coming to town again.
Before we keep going, talking about running back, talking about the week of practice, got to give some love to our sponsor. LC, take it away on Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
Thank you, LC. We'll move on to maybe some developments at the running back position, and that is a return of Jerrick Gibson. We got to see him plenty during the opening portions of the year, scored a touchdown against Michigan, but didn't really play much against Vanderbilt or Georgia, didn't log a carry at all. Last carry was against Oklahoma. Is that something that could change this week?
Yeah, I think he only had 2 carries. He only had 2 carries since Mississippi State, both against Oklahoma. It's with the run game, needing an infusion of energy and talent. I think we are going to see him. The intent is to get him more involved this week. Now, sometimes when I predict somebody's going to play a lot, the game flow doesn't really lend itself to that happening. So if Trey Wisner comes in and Jaden Blue, one of those guys has a hot hand, or perhaps both of them, maybe we won't see Jerrick. That would not be the worst development of all time. But the intent going into this week, and he practiced like he was going to get carries this week, is to get him involved, much more involved. They need a third back there. They need somebody that can get reliable 3-4 yards at a time. The running game has been a bit hit or miss. Some of that has to do with the offensive line. I'm not trying to blame the running backs there. Some of it's been due to penalties as well. But I think, Jerrick Gibson profiles to a guy that can get them a steady 3 to 8 yards, like the comparison we had earlier for him in the season. Frank Gore is that kind of runner. He's not a huge chunk runner, but he's good between the tackles, and that element's been missing. So I tend to think that he's going to get some carries. Now, this is not the easiest defensive line to get runs up the middle. They have like a combined 750 pound or almost 800 pounds up the middle. It might be tough sledding up there this week, but they need to get Jerrick Gibson back healthy. There's a chance he could play a similar run down the stretch as he played to start the season.
I think one of the reasons that his playing time has been limited, you can go to Pro Football Focus, and his grade for like pass protection is 9, and that's out of 100. That doesn't say as much as the fact that he's only had 2 opportunities to do it. They just don't give him very many opportunities to protect the passer. Has he made developments there? Is this a situation where you think they're just going to trot him out there to maybe get something else going on early downs? How do you see this playing out?
I think that's what they probably want to see. I think it's going to be a mix of early downs. Yeah, you can control when a running back plays. He doesn't have to be out there on pass protection, and he doesn't have enough volume or sample size to where they go, oh, Jerrick Gibson in there, they're not going to pass. I think you can get him involved. Now, this is a tricky week to get a running back that struggled with pass protection or blitz pickup involved, because Georgia does like to blitz a lot. They bring a lot of different blitzers from different angles. His head's going to be swimming a bit, so maybe they want to test him and just see where he's at. They haven't seen him in a while in that element outside of practice. You're not sure how much scout team defense is going to mimic Georgia's ability or Florida's ability to blitz. This could be a good test for them both. Not just running the ball. We know that he's got the talent. We've seen that this year. But the way that Florida likes to blitz and bring it from all different angles, they've simplified it a little bit this season, but they still blitz from a lot of different players. You're going to see it from linebacker, corner, safety, nickel. That's going to be a challenge for Jerrick and both the other running backs. The other running backs haven't exactly colored themselves in glory in blitz pickup, but that's an element that's got to improve. This is a good game for Texas to improve on offense. The corners are injured for Florida. That should help out the passing game. There's ways that they can make these baby steps in this game where we can exit it feeling a lot more confident that, okay, the offense is on the right track. We saw signs of that versus Vanderbilt, particularly in the first half. This is another good test where we can see, all right, is the running game actually improving against a solid Florida defense? Is Quinn stepping up in the pocket against a blitz, against a talented long secondary? They've got some pieces at Florida and they play hard. So I'm really looking forward to this. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of little barometers that we're checking across the board. And if Jerrick Gibson gets in there, maybe it's only 6-7 snaps. We're gonna break down each of those snaps to see, has he improved, and are they going to be able to count on him down this home stretch?
Baby steps for the baby Rhino in the run game. So last thing, Texas has been on bye since late October, escaped Nashville with the win. But they had a little bit of a, measured week coming back from the Vanderbilt game, ramped it up again as usual for the Florida game. What are some of the big takeaways that you got from talking to sources from the week of preparation, not just for this game, but for the upcoming stretch?
Yeah, I really liked hearing that Monday the offense looked really good. You come back from a bye week, sort of a long weekend. These guys aren't really used to long weekends, and they definitely try to decompress and get away from football. But they came back and hit the ground running on offense. On offense. That pleased Sark quite a bit behind the scenes. He was happy to see the crispness of the passing game. Very few execution errors in practice on Monday. And that kind of carried throughout the week. So the offense had a good week. To feel that the offensive line made some strides. They sort of took a back to basics approach on run blocking. A lot of it's just keep your feet moving. Position your hands in the right place. That sort of thing. A lot of the penalties were out in the open and obvious that had to be called. There's that's bad technique. You got to move your feet. You got to put your hands in the right place. We'll see if they made improvements. Again, this Florida defense is going to test them in that regard. On defense, it's this group is confident. Their confidence is through the roof, really. And coming in with this quarterback, Florida's playing with one arm tied behind their back. He's not really going to test them downfield unless they get that run game going. The focus will be to stop the run and really communicate and not bust any assignments because Florida does like to use a lot of shifts and motions similar to Texas to create indecision in the secondary. But this isn't really the group that's going to work on, or at least it shouldn't. I expect Texas to have a very good game, based on the week of practice that I've heard. But it might be a little iffy. Fits and starts on offense like we've seen in the past. Defense should play really well. I mean, Texas scores 27 points. That's probably, it could be a blowout with only 27 points scored.
I kind of had a thought that, a 28-6 game is still a cover, and it could still end up being
what's the line right now?
Last I checked, it was 21.5.
Okay, opened up at 17.5, which is about what I thought it would be. Yeah, I mean, I'm just because the offense is so hard to get a handle on, I'm thinking like 27-10. I just don't truly believe in the offense yet. I need to see a consistent ramp up. If they play well this week, I'll start feeling a little bit better about it. Another decent test going up in Fayetteville next week. I like how it kind of stair steps a little bit up to the Aggie game. But I want to see some confidence out of Quinn. I want to see the ball moved around, and I want to see the ball go, to all points of the field. Last week or against Vanderbilt was just too much perimeter passing, which is easy. I mean, whatever. They won the game with perimeter passing, but they're not going to win a national championship with perimeter passing.
Absolutely. We'll be here breaking it down pregame, postgame, all week, all weekend. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, head to InsideTexas.com. We'll have complete coverage of this upcoming Florida game. Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.